Fast forward, any come out our channel so AG Politics Avenue. Onia podcast or training make we speak headlines. And your jumbre na iribi aksum awa. So swam say any dim any ahumbraxium say ene AD kanya. Omani aso bit subscribe to the channel. It's notification bell so share na afia for front so answer into me NKB. Any dim nya ahumbraxium yanko eye political highways na eja dema enye asem koto akra. Na nyina ne say Solomon Osu and Meno Kasei, what you mean, a Susuja Eddie Agu a year, Ken Ofori-Atta Echema, and Yasam Kutuakra. I don't know what you're working on, say. Special prosecutor. They don't care what it takes. Say what they Ken Ofori-Atta, Eddie Babagana say. You move here, Precope, Eyo Omusika, allegedly, Yesika, because me a gun and him. He alleged say, Akodi papa ne ho a amfa kwampa so ombra ombebu hu akonta enu ani yehwehwe na wakasa agitatively a wonia enya asem koto akra yempomwem na yehwe ne yekọ eni de ba GH politics up.
I proceed. Let us be clear here. This issue, people are trying to generalize it. When it's about Ken Ofori-Atta, so let's all think about corruption. It is Ken Ofori-Atta. Let's discuss it. And the OSP and his actions. And I wasn't too sure what my brother Adam was saying, that we should move on. This is a serious matter. In fact, if we are going to move on and leave Ken Ofori-Atta's case, then we must know, nobody must talk about corruption in this country. I'm telling you, because until this administration, this current government take the issue of Ken Ofori-Atta and take it seriously, nobody will take this government serious. Then the whole issue of ORA would have crumbled. And nobody in this country must waste our years with corruption. Because we are talking about a man who led this country in terms of managing our past, led us to borrow $13.5 billion, led us to invest $97 million into a hole, led us into an SMA deal, and we are talking about what? Then there is no need in discussing corruption again. Ken Ofori-Atta somewhere during the erstwhile administration, 80 members of his own party went to parliament and said that he has to be removed. Beyond that, buoyant. They cited incompetence and also held grounds. He told us that he was fit. He was ready to die for this country. He was ready to die for this country. And I don't even understand this business of people saying that he wrote to the old chief of staff and the incoming chief of staff. As of the 2nd of January, we had only one chief of staff in this country. Who was that incoming chief of staff?
Oh, there was a transition process.
No. You see, until you have been given the power, as of the 2nd of January 2025, President Akuffo was still in position. So there couldn't have been two chief of staffs. He wrote to his chief of staff, Femo Pare, and was granted. And the OSP did nothing. Absolutely nothing. This business of really sugarcoating that office, I'm even surprised he's still drawing salaries from the state.
What do you mean by
it's
that?
a total waste of everybody's time.
With all the achievements.
What have they achieved? What?
They put out a list of...
No, you see, the last time he came to tell us that he has flashed 10,000 ghost tips from
yes.
Hey, so OSP that is supposed to prosecute people, they don't even respect our intelligence.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean?
You have gotten 10,000 people as being ghosts. Did you hear him prosecute any one of them? Because these ghosts, they have bank accounts that every month the monies go into it, then they withdraw. Ghosts, do they withdraw monies? Is it not human beings? That should have been a starting point in investigating, assuring the nation that he was doing something. When they put up something there for all of us to just go up like that as mumu, we are not mumu in this country.
Even with the SML, some 2.7 billion.
He has no. You see, you shouldn't even. When you do that, when you give credence.
When
you do that, you see that you belittle our intelligence. I've said that he has to leave the office. He has no business whatsoever. I keep telling you, the very day that he did that press, was it a press conference or so, that he said, "Ankwanoma, me de make a crab out for it." He should have resigned. Yeah. But what he was telling us was that he has lost faith in the system. He couldn't deal with the system anymore. So just leave. And then we move on. You understand? Ken Ofori-Atta came to tell us that through his lawyers that he was returning back to this country somewhere in May. That position was affirmed by Fenyo Marcus, who were that sure. Are we not in November? When is he going to come? In fact, the very reason why he left this country must be the reason why we must bring him back. He said he was going for health checkup. Is that not the case? If you are a finance minister and you were in charge of my purse, instead of helping to invest our monies into building state-of-the-art health facilities so that you and I, ordinary Ghanaians, when we are sick, we could go there. You came to mess us up, and when you felt you were sick, you are going to Mayo, the most expensive hospital, one of the most expensive hospitals in the U.S. Come and explain to us how we ended up destroying our financial fiber. You say you won't come. Today, as we speak, they are shifting the goalposts. Ken Ofori-Atta is sitting somewhere, chilling, and we are discussing semantics, OSP versus Martin Pebu, because Martin raised issues, and let me say that, look, if the OSP and his people are thinking that it's only Martin that is not happy with them, then they must be mistaken. They must be mistaken.
So whatever disagreements between Martin Pebu and the OSP is only benefiting Ken Ofori-Atta.
That is it. That is, it's part of the strategy. They want us to forget about the real issue of the corruption. I am not interested in whatever English you write. All that I'm interested in is that Ken Ofori-Atta was given a mandate, and that our monies are not adding up. Come and explain to me. You are here writing English, and they want to play with our minds. We are very much focused on this matter, that he must be brought back. And I believe that this administration must also not be toying with us. Whatever it will take for them to go and bring him, they must do that. If the OSP is dilly-dally with the issue, they should just push him aside.
There's an extradition process in place. They say that the Attorney General is aiding in the process.
The last time, did you hear the Attorney General speak?
To get it done.
Bring them the file, it was even a matter.
They sorted out
So they should move. That's why I said the Attorney General must come in. I trust the Attorney General's office more than the OSP. The OSP will not take us anywhere.
The OSP has stated that the AG's office is doing what you are
saying. I want to hear from inconsistencies, a lot of them. He says that he discussed with other security agencies, yet they allowed him to go. Now it is turning out that that was not the case. So how do you expect you to trust him? I want to listen to the Attorney General on this matter. And they must do this country that great service by telling us what exactly is happening. Because some of us want to see Ken Ofori-Atta in this country.
Want to see him in person.
In person, but he was the finance minister in person. He was not leading the finance ministry in absentia. He was not doing Zoom meeting with us when he was the finance minister. Come back and respond to us as a country.
Well, but he has been charged now. He's not in the country physically. He has been charged.
You see, there was a precedent that was set that in those days, I said that we were heading into abyss with the said enough Tamako. When judgments are giving, people run away and go and sit somewhere. That is what is going to happen. Now, Ken has also followed. He has issues to answer here. He's living somewhere. The next time, somebody will just come and see the entire monies of this country and go and live. Is that the way we want to build this country? So please, Ken Ofori-Atta's matter is as important as, in fact, it's the most important matter in the corruption issues. And until we deal with it constructively, you can dedicate the rest of the years discussing Ken Ofori-Atta. We will not move on if that matter is not sorted. And the OSP cannot shortchange anybody. And nobody should bring semantics and try and create the impression that it's a trivial matter. It's a serious matter. It's a serious matter because my tax was paid. As a business, even when you cannot pay, you are forced to pay. And when we give you all these things to manage it well, and it's time for you to come and account to us, you say what? SML, he must come and explain to us. But does it not even give you that impression? You see, it's a shame that a minister of finance has run away from the country. And people are thinking that
you say it's not well.
No, he's very well. He's very well.
Medical.
Have you ever seen him ever since he told that he was not well? We had a whole clinic called Mayo. If you don't know who was there issuing letters, we never spoke to anybody there. Fake letters they were bringing. I dare them to let the person that side speak.
Do you have evidence to support?
I don't have any evidence that it was also signed by the Mayo Clinic.
So then why do you say it's fake?
It is fake because nobody knows. We have faceless people issuing letters. Along the line, from the Mayo Clinic, we have some people calling themselves family members who issued a statement. At the end of the day, they just only signed family members. Who are the family members of Ken Ofori-Atta? A lot of things have happened in between. You can have about 1,000 members of a family. Who signed it? You want to know who signed it? Then they chickened out. Then the wife came in. Now look, the man was not well. What is this that we are? What is it about Ken Ofori-Atta that we cannot confront it? And that is where I agree with Martin. The timidity levels in this country, we have a lot of timorous souls. But if we are going to behave like this, we will continue to have politicians play with our minds. We will continue to have politicians steal from us. We will continue to have politicians think that the wealth of the nation belongs to them. And now whenever they come, they will do whatever pleases them. No, nobody is above the laws of this country. This is the country of our birth. The money that were given to any administration of Ken Ofori-Atta was not for him. It was for you and I. It was to be used to develop this country. If you have done something and say, come and answer, and you are telling us, at a point you said you could do Zoom meeting. Which help was you going to use to do the Zoom meeting? You were not well. Ask for Zoom meeting, then you can do it. You can set up a camera on yourself, sit behind the PC, and answer audibly all questions. Just fly to Ghana within 12 hours and come and do that. You can do that.
So, you see, I listened to Adam Sanano and says, you know what? I mean, he wants to confront the reality of the situation that at the time, the gentleman we're talking about wasn't well. And so whatever assurance he gave also had that particular medical situation underlying it, that, you know, when anytime you need me, I will come. Should we have put any currency on that, or some other measures should have been put in place to ensure that beyond that assurance, we will not be at this point?
Good morning to you once again and our cherished viewers out there, as well as my colleagues in the studio. You see, Alfred, first of all, I condemn any form of commentary that seeks to belittle the effect of what we are discussing, especially relating to the office of the special prosecutor and the occupant of that office. The Ken Ofori-Atta experience is but one of the many concerns that Ghanaians are beginning to raise when it comes to the functionality of that particular office and its relevance. And for me, this bit about Ken Ofori-Atta actually being sick, and so there shouldn't be any fuss about it, is quite strange, to say the least. Strange because we are talking about a man who had the opportunity by presidential appointment to be finance minister for close to 7.5 years. Within that period, we woke up one beautiful morning, in fact, one worrying morning, to the news that he was unwell in the US, with visible signs of actual health conditions. The gentleman, like Solo indicated, even after his own party people demanded for his removal, still found time, flew back to this country, and continued his role as finance minister. Interestingly, even after he was let go, he stayed in this country throughout, only to decide to leave when a new government was about to take office. And we do not think that even the timing of his decision to leave Ghana raises serious questions for us to want to ask those questions on. And if people are asking those questions, we should give him the luxury of time to stay in the United States of America and decide when he wants to feel it is timely for him to come to Ghana to come and answer questions. Is that how we run a state? This is worrying. And this kind of logic is strange and unacceptable. You see, Alfred, when we are talking about the OSP, people may miss the point. One of the fundamental reasons we're told we needed out of this had to do with instilling credibility and integrity into our democratic space. And so when we wake up and we begin to have issues about that institution that was set up to pursue these objectives, and we begin to see that even within the internal workings of that institution, there are issues of credibility and integrity, we should be worried. First of all, I am not excited about the conduct of Kisi Ajebong, especially who I got the name right, as special prosecutor. And I will tell you why.
Why?
First of all, this is a gentleman who appears to raise issues of credibility and integrity more than any occupant of that office.
What do you mean?
Alfred, when the Deputy Attorney General engaged the press and indicated to us that that office had written to the Chief of Staff demanding extradition of Ken Ofori-Atta, and they decided to engage. They were meant to furnish his office with the full docket of the Ken Ofori-Atta case to enable them process the extradition processes. We were told that, look, the Office of Special Prosecutor decided to drag his feet. They were not cooperating. That was the word. But because he was Deputy Attorney General, he had to be diplomatic in his choice, unlike the Special Prosecutor who is accusing all state institutions of not cooperating with him. He said they couldn't engage to get the docket out. The gentleman informed all of us that they were almost done and in the process of giving the docket to the Attorney General. And the simple question we needed to ask them was that, so what informed the basis of the letter that was written to the Chief of Staff to seek the intervention of the government to support the extradition processes if you were not done with the documentation that would inform that extradition? What were you doing? That is the first question. And when we were on it, political as he is, that was the time we started asking issues of accountability relating to that office. He threw us a bone. He proceeded to address a press conference and make public the SML report, if you remember, seeking to deflect attention. Yeah. And we bought into that bid as a republic. So he walked away freely. Quite recently, when Senior Counsel Martin Kwebu began putting the spotlight on their internal operations, and Ghanaians followed that trail by beginning to ask questions, what did he do? Characteristic of that particular office, he proceeded once again to release a press statement indicating that he had filed charges against Ken Ofori-Atta intended to deflect the spotlight of accountability in his office.
He had filed charges, had he not?
Oh, but you should be looking at the timing of many of these things. And you should understand that we are dealing with a politician. We are dealing with a politician who privileges strategy.
And 6 others.
We are dealing with a politician who privileges strategy over the core mandate of his office, and that is critical. And so these are issues of integrity. Can you trust such a person? Absolutely no. Alfred, the third point. Manasseh Azura-Winnie and his colleagues have been fantastic as far as the issue of the SML is concerned. They are raising issues about the failure of the special prosecutor to have issued a stop notice. And what is his defense? Oh, he is the president's cousin, and the president had granted him permission to travel. Are you kidding me? You have been set up by the laws of this country. You are given special powers to operate. Even if President Nana Addo Dankwa Akuffo had granted permission for Ken Ofori-Atta to travel, nothing stopped you, as special prosecutor, from indicating to the president in an official correspondence that he is a subject of interest when it comes to ongoing investigations that you are conducting, and for which reason the president should be minded to withdraw his grant of permission to travel. Did he do that?
Said National Security even cleared him to travel.
It doesn't matter. But the question I'm asking is that if you feel that they should not have cleared him, did you write to these offices to indicate to either President Nana Akufo-Addo or National Security that this gentleman is a subject of interest in an ongoing investigation? And so, Your Excellency, the decision to grant him permission to travel, you shouldn't have. To the extent that you did, there was no such correspondence to the office. We will not just join you because as a country we have issues with the Akufo-Addo governance to conclude that President Akufo-Addo granted the permission for him to travel so that he could run away. And so we should blame President Akufo-Addo. What did you do as an independent special prosecutor to prevent or to prompt the office of the president that gentleman ought not to have been granted permission and the permission should be revoked?
So are you discounting the element of the relationship between Ken Ofori-Atta and the president?
I am not discounting it.
And the fact
I am not discounting it. And you see, and that is how we lose the essence of the critical questions surrounding the operations of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. It will be in his interest for us to be concentrating on the relationship between President Nana Addo and Ken Ofori-Atta, because he knows that Ghanaians were appalled and are still appalled by that chemistry. But I am not going to dwell on that. I'll give President Akuffo the benefit of the doubt and begin to ask the questions that we are all not asking. If you are a special prosecutor and the president has granted permission to a minister to travel or a former appointee, what prevents you? Did you write a letter to the president telling the president that, look, don't allow Ken to travel because we are having an investigation? You did not. So you cannot now be claiming that you did not do anything because he's the president's cousin. You should have written a letter. If the president has said no to the letter, we would have agreed with you. The decision to say no was based on the fact that they are related. Until that is done, you did absolutely nothing. Again, this is a special prosecutor who addressed the press and indicated to us that as a result of the ongoing investigations, they have been able to more or less save the nation in excess of 2.7 billion. That would have been lost as a result of the merged SML transactions. Mm-hmm. That was where their running battles with Manasseh started. Interestingly, Manasseh puts the figure around $500 million or more.
Well, we'll come
now
to
the question is,
we ain't semahodo timi koso channel so mamno so jemre o hada sene so badi no eri adumbi edobie ni basamba rum na asum yipa